Right now, Western societies are suffering from an obesity epidemic. If you're overweight right now, by a little or a lot, you need to pay close attention because I'm going to share with you one weird, fat-melting secret that works practically instantly, starting tonight. And it doesn't matter whether you need to lose 100 pounds to save your life or lose 10 pounds to fit into your wedding dress. It doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. It doesn't matter how old or young you are. It doesn't matter if you come from a family of big-boned people. And it doesn't even matter if you're really lazy. Because what I'm going to show you is guaranteed to flat out work. There's no question about it. And did I tell you it works fast? It'll get you results guaranteed within 30 days. And for some people, it takes less than a week to see results in the mirror. Yep, I'm talking about getting visible results within 7 freaking days. Just imagine yourself 7 days from now, waking up, stepping on the scale, and seeing the number go down for a change. Tell me that wouldn't put you in a good mood for the rest of the day. And this one weird fat-melting trick even works if you're lazy. Because the truth is, you're not fat because you're lazy, or you eat way too much. It's probably not because you have a thyroid problem either. It's probably not because you have big bones, and I highly doubt it's because of some pre-existing health condition you're not aware of. The good news is that I have a super easy and effortless way for you to lose all of those extra pounds, get in shape, and finally have energy again. Designed specifically for people who don't want to starve themselves on some miserable diet, drag themselves to the gym for grueling workouts, or have to do anything that is going to cramp your lifestyle. The secret I'm about to reveal to you requires virtually zero effort in a 100% safe, healthy, easy, and all-natural way. You see, they didn't always call me no-nonsense Ted. To my mom, I was Teddy Bear, her chubby, cuddly little boy. My mom and dad were what you'd call big bone, too, so they just saw me as being normal. But the kids at school, they had other names for me. Cruel, terrible names. I remember hiding in the showers during gym class, or going to the school nurse and faking some injury, just to avoid the shame of not being able to do a pull-up or a sit-up, or jog a single lap around the track. The worst was when we played kickball. I'll never forget the burning shame I felt standing there waiting to get picked for one of the teams. Freddie Bavaro, the best athlete in my class and the worst bully, was always one of the team captains. And everyone knew Tubby Ted would be the last one picked. Whichever team ended up with me, the other kids would complain about having to play with the fat ass. I felt useless, which made me want to avoid sports and exercise completely, and drown my sorrows in junk food and sugary sodas. This continued all through college and into my adult life. Thankfully, I had my loving wife Darlene and our 2 wonderful children. Darlene had struggled with her weight throughout her life too, which is how we bonded at first. There were times when we both went on crash diets, or joined gyms, or took up an activity to try to lose weight. But these attempts were always short-lived. Any pounds Darlene and I managed to lose would come piling back on before long, and I'd be heavier than ever before. I remember bringing my family to an amusement park for my little boy's 8th birthday. He'd been dreaming of riding the roller coaster for months. But when I was too fat to fit the belt buckle around my waist, they told me I couldn't go on the ride, so neither could my son. He cried all the way home, and I was holding back tears of my own, tears of shame. But if you think that's bad, that was nothing compared to what happened at my high school reunion last year. I would have rather spent that day having root canal surgery with no anesthesia. But Darlene and I were in the same high school class, that's how we first met, and she wanted to see some old classmates of hers, so I reluctantly went with her. It was an outdoor picnic on a scorching hot day in July. There I was, sweating like a pig, sitting on one of those fold-out aluminum lawn chairs, stuffing my face with a plate full of food resting on my belly, while my former classmates stood around chatting. My old tormentor, Freddie Bavaro, was standing over by the buffet table. I caught him eyeballing me with a sneer on his face, and snickering something to his wife. It was that same sneer he used to give me whenever Fat Ass wound up on his kickball team, when suddenly I heard a creaking sound, the sound of metal bending, and then snap! The legs of my chair broke like toothpicks, and I went crashing to the ground like a big sack of blubber. My plate full of spaghetti and potato salad and my jumbo-sized cup of beer spilled all over me. And no matter how hard I struggled, I could not pick myself up. I was flopping around like a beached whale. I could hear laughter all around me. Suddenly, I was flashing back to gym class. No one moved a muscle to help me, until Darlene rushed over and helped me get back on my feet. After she helped me clean up, we went home. But the worst humiliation of my life had only begun, because Freddie Bavaro had recorded the whole awful incident on his phone and posted it on YouTube, and it went viral overnight. It was shared on Facebook 11,576 times. I found out the following Monday morning when I was sitting in my cubicle, and I noticed a bunch of my coworkers standing around a computer and laughing their guts out, and peeking over at me. I got up, waddled over to them, and saw myself on screen, splayed out on the grass with a face full of spaghetti. I pushed them aside and played the video back from the beginning, and there I was, chowing down at the picnic, while Freddie filmed me, talking like he was narrating some National Geographic video. Here is the land whale in his natural habitat, stuffing his fat, disgusting face at a buffet. All of the jokes, insults, and humiliations of my past came rushing back at me. I remember feeling like I just wanted to crawl into some deep, dark hole and die. Either that or eat a pizza, which is exactly what I proceeded to do. How pathetic I must have looked. Sitting alone in some greasy spoon, scarfing down an extra-large pie with all the toppings while I bawled my eyes out. And a few days later, when I had my annual medical checkup, I was smacked in the face with the realization that my weight wasn't just making me a laughingstock on the internet. It was killing me. My doctor diagnosed me with high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes and gave me a stark warning that I was liable to have a stroke or heart attack at any time unless I lost at least 100 pounds. He scribbled out prescriptions for a bunch of different medications and sent me waddling off. Now this is when a reasonable person would say to themselves, enough is enough. Time for me to get my sorry butt in shape and save my life. But not me. I felt completely powerless and hopeless. I didn't even bother to stop at the pharmacy and pick up my medications. Instead, I hit the McDonald's drive-thru and picked up enough food to choke a horse. Then I went home and plopped myself down on the couch to stuff my face and zone out in front of the TV. The kids were at school and my wife was at work. I'd have a couple of hours to pig out in peace before they came back. But I guess I ate myself into a food coma, because the next thing I knew, I was being roused from my slumber by the angry voice of my wife, Darlene. She was standing over me, clutching my prescriptions in her hand. Crap, she must have found them in my wallet. Ted, what are you doing to yourself? She cried out. I guess I don't need to ask how your doctor's appointment went. These medications are for high blood pressure and diabetes. I pushed the empty Big Mac boxes off my chest, wiped the chocolate ice cream from my mouth, and yelled back at her in frustration. It doesn't matter at this point. I'm going to die young and fat, the same as my dad. We might as well accept it, and I'm going to enjoy the time I have left. That's when I heard the voice of my 6-year-old daughter, Annabelle. Daddy, you're going to die? I looked over. Annabelle was standing in the doorway, clutching her little teddy bear. And when I saw the scared look on her face and the tears in her eyes, in all my years of being humiliated and feeling ashamed of myself, nothing tore my heart out like hearing my baby girl say that to me. The next morning, my wife told me she was going to take the kids and stay at her sister's house for a while. She simply could not bear to have them all watch me kill myself any longer. And so they went, and I spent the next 2 days in bed, wallowing in my misery. What was I supposed to do, drag my whale-sized butt to the gym and join in aerobics class? They'd all laugh at me, like the kids back in gym class. If I didn't die of embarrassment, the strain on my heart would probably burst it like a balloon, and I couldn't survive on twigs and berries, or whatever the latest miracle diet of the month said to do. I'd already tried all those diets, and they made me so miserable and so horrible to be around. My family would have been better off without me, but I also knew something else. I'd had enough. I was sick of lying to myself, sick of making excuses, sick of acting like the victim. And that night, as I lay in bed, alone, gorging myself on a tub of ice cream and channel surfing, the answer found me. It was one of those overseas news channels. A journalist was interviewing some old, wise-looking doctor from Switzerland with a long gray beard, and he was saying how his clinic had conducted some new breakthrough research into why overweight people really have such a hard time losing weight. It's got nothing to do with your willpower. It's got nothing to do with us being lazy. It's about the fact that your brain has gone haywire because you've been eating the wrong way for so long, and now your brain is sending out the wrong signals to your stomach. I'll spare you all the scientific stuff he was prattling on about. The bottom line is this. Imagine you're a car, and your gas gauge is telling your brain that you're on empty all the time, even though you really aren't. In fact, even when you've got a full tank, your brain thinks you're running low, so it tells you that you need to consume more junk to stay alive. This is why you get those cravings, and it's why you crave bad food, and crave it a lot more than other people, because this is what your body is used to. And your brain thinks that bad food is gas. Even when your stomach is full, your brain keeps telling you that you need more gas. So you keep stopping for gas, and then eventually you start filling up gas cans and storing them in your trunk because your brain thinks you could run out at any moment. And then the Swiss doctor said something that nearly made me drop my Doritos. He said some of the most cutting-edge research into this amazing discovery was going on at a university that's only a few hours' drive from my house. So the next day, I stuffed myself into my car and made the trip, and then I spent hours in the campus medical library, staying late into the night as I dug into endless studies and research journals. I discovered an obesity expert named Dr. Louis Aron, director of the Comprehensive Weight Control Program at New York Presbyterian Hospital, Weill Cornell Medical Center, and he backed up what the Swiss doctor had said. The reason why some people find it impossible to lose weight despite trying all sorts of diets and exercise routines is because after years of eating and overeating, the typical Western diet actually changes your brain. To be specific, the Western diet you've been on your whole life damages the signaling pathways in the hypothalamus, which is the part of your brain that regulates your metabolism. So I kept digging, going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. And that's when I came across a groundbreaking study published in the British Journal of Nutrition, which had never been publicized in the USA. I learned that a team of scientists at the University of Liverpool had found that the typical Western diet sets into motion a chain reaction of metabolic dysfunction. This means your brain starts tricking you with crazy mixed signals. You think you're hungry, and you crave fatty, high-carb foods when you really don't need them at all. Over time, your diet actually damages the nerves that conduct signals throughout your hypothalamus. This destroys your body's ability to regulate your weight and metabolism. And now, your body is in permanent fat storage mode instead of fat burning mode. The messages your brain is sending you about your appetite and your hunger are all mixed up. When you're full, your brain tells you to eat more. And when your body ought to be burning off calories, your brain is telling it to store those calories as fat. The good news is there is a way to reverse your metabolic dysfunction and set your brain straight so that it stops working against you and starts working for you, sending your body the right signals instead of sending the signals that keep you fat and make you fatter. In fact, there's one weird fat-melting trick you can use to shift your body from metabolic dysfunction to metabolic hyperefficiency so that starting today, you'll melt away the flab, burn off your extra pounds, and shrink your belly even while you sleep without any hard work required. Right now, you may be having the same thoughts I was having as I made this astonishing discovery. Why isn't this fat-melting trick being taught by every doctor and written about in the weight loss books and health magazines? The reason is simple. The $60 billion weight loss industry pays a lot of money to make sure this information remains buried. I found a treasure trove of never-before-revealed secrets in the basement of that university library, but they'd never been made public. And now you know why. I was ready to put what I'd learned to the test, so I dedicated the next few months to one goal: dropping weight and reversing my type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure. And I was going to do it without going on some grueling diet and without spending hours sweating on treadmills and exercising myself half to death. As the pounds began to melt away and my energy and optimism returned, I began to realize, since the day we were born, we've been lied to about what is required to actually lose weight and keep it off. This is why, if you're overweight right now, or carrying some stubborn extra fat in the wrong places, it's not your fault. There's so much conflicting information out there that you simply don't know who to trust and what to believe anymore. Even worse, much of the advice out there from the so-called experts is downright terrible. When it comes to losing weight and staying fit, healthy, and happy, not only does it not help you, it actually causes you to gain weight and accelerates the aging process. Soon, I had gone from looking like this to looking like this. And as thrilled as I was when I saw my results in the mirror every morning, I can't even begin to describe the joy I felt.